welcome to the Gaia update for the Pisces full moon that's happening on Sunday, August 26th, 2018. I'm Adrienne Elise. So this Pisces full moon is completing the eclipse cycle for summer 2018. It's not an eclipse, but because the last eclipse was a new moon, solar eclipse, this is completing the cycle as the full moon in Pisces. Of course, eclipses continue to affect us for up to 6 months or longer. And so we're kind of adjusting right now to this massive activation, crazy retrograde summer of 2018. And now we're going to start moving into the next chapter. This starts on the 19th. Mercury has turned direct. And so one of our action planets is now moving forward again. Of course, we're not really going to feel like we're out of this retrograde season until these planets begin to come out of what's called their retrograde shadow. That means when they return to the degree that they were at before they went into retrograde. And in that case, Mercury is going to come out of shadow on September 2nd. So September, October is when we're really going to start feeling like we're coming out of this summer 2018 confusion. And what's really going on? The other thing that's bringing clarity to us is that for this full moon and for pretty much the whole month of August, we've been feeling Mercury in square with Jupiter, because right before Mercury turns direct, it went into a square with Jupiter starting on the 11th of the month, but we were feeling it all the way at the beginning of August. And then it comes right back into a square with Jupiter after it turns direct on the 19th. And so we have a whole nother week of feeling this. Now, Mercury is typically a fast mover, goes over its transits in just a few days. In this case, it's spending the whole month in this influence of Mercury in square with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is direct, so it's kind of leading the way, pulling energetically these other planets out of retrograde in a way. And so Jupiter is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is about looking underneath the surface for what's going on, really. Scorpio wants to know the truth, it wants to get to the bottom of things, and it wants to get underneath the suppression or the shadow energy of what's been hidden in our consciousness and clean it out. And so Jupiter has had a powerful retrograde in Scorpio this summer and now is direct and moving straight through, just powering through those degrees of Scorpio. And this might feel like a little mudslinging as we move forward and these planets going direct. We've been focusing so much on surrendering to the inaction of the summer and the confusion and the just kind of strange energy of these eclipse portals and all this retrograde energy. And now it's time to move. But what does that mean? And sometimes when the wheel starts to turn, if it's been stuck, it's going to sling some mud. It's going to move some things. It's going to create waves of energy, movement energy. And where is that happening? Jupiter, this big, expansive, amplifying planet in the sign of the shadow. And so with Mercury in square to Jupiter, we're having clarity come, because Mercury is our everyday kind of conceptual reality, our ability to make sense of things in our mind. And in square with Jupiter, it's saying, hey, what's hiding in the shadows? What's in the closet? What have you tucked away that you don't want to deal with? Because now it's probably going to come to the surface. And so people are kind of like, well, it's like we haven't had any mudslinging, for this last whole year and years, and it's like, yes, we have, but now we're putting some energy behind it. We're putting a motor on the boat. And with Mercury turning direct, and then Mars will turn direct on Monday, August 27th. So we have a very potent energy here as we go from complete inaction with all of our action planets retrograde into all of our action planets direct. So that's Mercury, Mars, and then Saturn is retrograde and will turn direct on September 5th. So September, and then it's not until October 9th that Mars comes out of its retrograde shadow. So September and October, it's like we're moving forward, we are pushing through, and Jupiter is just on towards the finish line, moving through this territory of Scorpio, just sludging through the mud, just clearing a pathway for the true self, for the light of your soul, for your true gifts to land home with that Mercury in Leo energy. With Mercury in Leo having this retrograde, it's been spending a long time in Leo. It did not go back in like often planets will retrograde back into the previous sign. For Mercury, no, it's a commitment to Leo. Leo is about shining our light, bringing forward our truth, claiming joy, claiming our leadership, our dynamic abilities to shine in this world. And so Mercury in Leo in retrograde, and always when planets are going retrograde, they're kind of going back over territory to make sure that we're understanding what's really going on. And so in square with Jupiter this whole month, it's like, what is in the way? What is that's hidden in your subconscious and in the subconscious of our collective reality is keeping us from really living our truth and shining our light and being who we're really meant to be. And that's underneath the rug, and it's hidden back in the closet, and it's like, this stuff's got to come out. But it's so much better for it to come out. I mean, being stuck in the mud is one thing, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, let's just move some stuff. The mud is going to sling. There's going to be kind of, a fallout here as these planets go direct, but we've got to have that so that we can actually clean it up and actually get the full activation of this North Node in Leo that's going to move into the sign of Cancer in November. And Jupiter will move into the sign of Sagittarius. And so we have some big shifts coming later this fall. And so we're kind of getting this massive, powerful, pretty much all of the major transits, the communications between the big planets in 2018 we're feeling right now. And so it's just this incredibly potent time. And we talked about 2018 as an adjustment year. And so this is it. We're here right now. We've got 1 foot in the old, 1 foot in the new, and it's time to hit the ground running with these retrograde planets turning direct, coming out of their shadow and moving us into new territory. The fall of 2018, or the end of the year, the spring in the southern hemisphere, is about stepping into the truth of who you really are. It's that kick in the butt. It's that being pushed out of the nest with this North Node in Leo. And so this Mercury in Leo retrograde square Jupiter in Scorpio is showing us everywhere. So people have been having massive karmic blooms. And this is showing you what is the dynamic, the belief system that goes along with this karmic situations that are keeping you from really owning your power, from really claiming the life that you desire to express your true gifts, what you want to bring here to this planet in this incarnation. And we are being pushed up against the wall and pushed into a corner until we're really willing to face that darkness inside. And in our collective consciousness, this is lies and corruption and power and control and narcissistic control energies on our planet. But in our individual life, it's showing us maybe where we've had that type of energetic behavior and self-serving interests. But for the light workers who are paying attention to this message right now, what the message is coming through about what's hiding in the shadows is ultimately your belief systems about whether or not you deserve to be who you really are, to incarnate your light on this planet right here, right now, which is so badly needed. It's so beautiful. But there's this past life programming and through trauma and experiences in past lives that are keeping this light workers from feeling safe in their power. Or, it's like, can you handle it? And if, are you good enough? Do you deserve it? Can you handle it? Is it too much for you? Is it going to hurt other people? These are all stories that we've been kind of inundated with. And actually, there is no shadow to this light. This light is just this pure gift of soul essence, this souls that have come again and again, no matter what they had to go through, to bring the light of healing, the light of love, the light of harmonizing and compassion to this earth plane through the darkest times. And now is when we actually get to start living. And a lot of people, a lot of the messages that are coming through right now have to do with kind of having to live a whole life before you can get to your actual life. And that's kind of metaphorically where we are at right now. And 2018 marks a big divide between the past and the future. And it's like the life that you were living in your narrow confines within this programming that you're not good enough, you better play small, you better not upset the boat, you know, better not like shine your light or, you know, upset the paradigm. And the new chapter, which is like, come on, we need you, like it's time, let's do this. Like the structures, the blessings, and the people are showing up in people's lives to help support that light, that path, that true existence of that feeling of doing what you're really here to do, that feeling of being at the right place at the right time, and your gifts being fully expressed and fully received. And so that's quite a difference. And that's what this summer has been about. That's why we've been kind of suspended in this strange place of like, we can't go back and we can't go forward. And it's like almost like this, what I talked about at the beginning of these retrogrades, it's like mama cat picking us up and kind of like trying to shake off this mud, and so we can be put back into our more optimal timeline, into this place where we have the support in the community to fully shine and to fully be who we are, and to rest and feel safe here on planet Earth, and arrive in our entirety, not just in as a fraction of our light. And so many light workers have been playing so small. And what does this world look like when all of a sudden they find that permission within themselves to shine, not because of the recognition or what they can accomplish in this world, and not toning it down because of other people's reaction or judgments. You know, it's just not about that at all. It's just about expression, and it just doesn't even matter what happens after that. And when these souls, these light workers, these indigo souls claim this sense of self, this strength, this courage to be their big self, regardless of how that's received in this world. This is the story. A lot of indigos have been playing so small and traumatized, like, well, I don't know if people really want what I have to offer because, you know, last time maybe I've gotten persecuted and killed in past lives, and that subconscious fear is coming up. And it's like, now it's just like, it doesn't, that the power, this Leo activation that's trying to happen right now on the planet, it's just like, how other people react to your light and what you have is of no consequence. It just needs to express, and then you're going to feel better. And look at what this world could look like as those souls claim their bigness, you know, and that there's no actual downside to that. And yet there's all this like programmed shame around it, but it's not actually true. So basically what's happening right now, why things are so intense, we've got this karmic purge going on with all this retrograde energy and these powerful eclipses, but we're also shaking down and getting onto our optimal timeline and moving forward in this whole new way of where it's just about pushing through all of the stories and all of this programming. So if we're open to it, there's a huge opportunity for reprogramming available right now. And it's almost seeing us like a computer, right? And we've been kind of programmed with viruses from past lives and these things that have happened. And indigos, you know, it's just like have come again and again through all of these things and keep showing up with their light, undaunted, you know? And so where's the balance of that? Where's the gift? Where's the blessings, the universal gratitude that exists around this? You know, so the receiving of the blessings and the support in this world cannot come until we're willing to receive who we really are, regardless of what anybody else in our life says about it. And so it's just a huge challenge, but there's just myriad of blessings, a balancing of the scales that's been unseen in our thousands of years of evolution, where these light workers are finally supported and held and having those structures of support to be able to move into really using your gifts and skills instead of hiding from them or denying them the way that we have been. And so a very, very powerful and potent time. In this time, we're having the benefit. Jupiter is square into that Mercury. That's got a lot of tension to it, but Jupiter is also in a beautiful trine with Neptune, and it's exact trine in, we're feeling it all month long, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful kind of like support to go along with, okay, well, there's tension around where you're not willing to look at the shadow, where you're not willing to find that self-worth, where you're not willing to pull yourself up out of victim consciousness. And that's being shown to you right now. And that Leo, Mercury in Leo, is that higher self calling to you, so that, saying, recognize the true purpose behind everything that's happening to you right now. This is the higher light trying to come in, and you got to get this lower shit out of the way, but then there's this beautiful energy going on with Neptune in trine with Jupiter, and this is allowing us, if we use it to our advantage, to reach up and feel that spiritual connection. A big part of the reason why this paradigm of false beliefs of this world that we live in has been allowed to continue is the whole kind of mechanism of it is to cut us off from our higher self, to cut us off from our own connection to spirit and source. And that's what we're trying to heal from the Piscean age. It's like, oh no, you have to go actually through the church or the Pope. Oh, and you probably are going to go to hell too. But if you want God's blessings, you're going to have to go through us, right? That's this whole Capricorn authority energy that's like shakedown, breakdown, that has to do with the 2020 astrology. And we're really moving into this energy, especially because Mars has retrograded back into Capricorn. So this last week of Mars retrograde, and that when it first turns direct, it's just stirring up a vortex of energy, and it's going to bring forward, and it's bringing forward all of these areas where we've given our power away, where we said, oh, okay, yeah, I can't really handle my power, and so why don't you keep it, and you can like sell it back to me at a taxed rate. It's kind of what's been really going on with the parasitic energies that have been controlling our planet and our reality and keeping us feeling like we don't have God's power within us. That is the biggest lie, and it's the biggest threat to our false paradigm of control energies. And so this Jupiter trine Neptune has been happening all year 2018. It's like, hey, you guys, the beneficial support energy, like your higher self and perhaps your homeworld people or your ascended masters of your tribe and all of these supportive energies, which is there's so much out there in the universe, but they follow the laws of the universe. They follow the prime directive, which says you will not interfere with someone's free will. And so it's like we have to decide that we deserve and own and, can grab onto the blessings of the universe and feel supported and feel like, oh, this is the deal. It's like when we let go of these heaviness with the stuff that's in the shadow and the karmic dump that's trying to happen, it's not just coming up to make us uncomfortable and to make us feel horrible about ourselves and to make us feel like failures and all that. It's coming up so we can lighten the load and move. So when you do drop all of this like type of karma, you go through these periods of time of this opportunity we've had this summer, then, the point of it and where we're heading to, and as these planets go direct and into the mystical, magical energies of fall or spring in the southern hemisphere of 2018, it's about being able to just really receive these blessings and feel the lightness of this world. Like it is it's just the most magical thing to be incarnated as consciousness. It's becoming aware of itself as spirit in a physical body, enjoying this physical world. And so there is lightness that wants to come and hold us. It's like there's a structure that is going to replace the control energies in this box, this matrix, but we have to be willing to let go of that. That has to do with our ego death of all the things we thought what was best for us. Like as we land into our optimal timeline, it means we have to shake down all of the places of like what we thought we were going to do and who we thought we were going to be, and and let go of all of this kind of failure belief systems, because our ego thought that we were going to do something in specific in this life, and actually we have a higher ego, we have a higher self, and that's what this opportunity with this Jupiter trine Neptune is, to just reach up around all of these stories and know that everything that's happening to you right now is about forging that communication with your higher self, and about bringing in this lightness of being, this better attitude, this understanding that, oh man, we're just having, it's a crazy world, but this is just one experience that we're having out of multitudes of many experiences, and that we are a spirit existing in consciousness. We are not our body. This is just one play that we're playing out. And so just this kind of beautiful Leo energy trying to come in with this North Node in Leo over this last year and a half. And it's like landing. It's like, this is our opportunity to take it. It's like, this is a play. We're here to play. We are here to grow and shine and understand and just see the bigger picture, So lots of people are having so much come up right now. But if you can help remind yourself, it's like, oh man, this is getting me to lightness, right? This is big, heavy energy. It's been hidden in my subconscious, maybe for lifetimes, and it's coming up so I can get rid of it for good, and I can feel lighter and freer and connect with who I really am, not my ego and what it thought was going to be best for me, but the truth of who I am, the higher self that's in alignment with the cosmos, with the creator, with God, and just kind of like moving into a divine reality. And that's like everything that all the control energies have worked against to keep us like a ceiling. It kind of looks like a ceiling. Like, no, there's nothing up here. You guys are just people, you're going to die and then that's it. Right? And you're just in a body bag, and it's just, you're just basically here to, eat and poop and die, and that's your purpose. And it's like, no, actually, that's a convenient for them, for the programming, because then it keeps us feeling worthless and undeserving of God's love. But then, if we really go inside of ourselves and we really use these experiences to give us the desired effect our higher self is looking for, we're like, oh, whoa, we are so big and so powerful. And then that programming comes in. Oh, can you handle your own power? Do you get to? Do you deserve it? And ultimately, starseeds, indigos here, light workers here to be a part of this amazing consciousness shift, have given their power over to lower dimensional energies. Like where you came from is higher dimensional than the control energies, So it's like that narcissistic kind of behavior again, and predatory energy. So this is really interesting with Mars going back into Capricorn, because we're looking at where we've given our power away and whether we deserve our spiritual autonomy. But what it's bringing up in this, I think Mars going direct, it's going to bring up some kind of feelings of like just some opportunities to stand up for ourselves, to stand up for who we really are and our spiritual truth, our spiritual path, and claim that for ourselves. And be like, I'm not going to buy into these stories, and I'm going to go ahead and know that I can be a sovereign entity into myself. I am my own universe, and I will create my reality based on the truth of who I am, not what everybody around me wants to tell me is the reality, and it's just a lot of power, like personal power. Now, Venus is speaking to this, because Venus at the new moon, the solar eclipse in Leo, Venus was in square to Saturn in Capricorn. It's at home in Libra, loves being there. And so now it's in square to Pluto. And it's speaking about where we're going with this 2020 astrology, when Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto are all together in Capricorn. And it's like this breakdown of false authority and unfair injustice in this world, and like recapitulating into the opportunity is to claim that spiritual autonomy. and be our own guiding light in our own universe, and claim our power back, and quit feeding our light away into the parasitic energies, and say, nope, I am this, and I'm going to decide where my dollar is going to be spent, right? Like, I'm going to decide what is going to be most beneficial for me and the people around me, and just moving into a more fair, more just world, because the power energies of power and control and people who have been leading in this world have had anything but the best interests of humans in mind. It's like the complete opposite. And it's like, why do the evil, like, worst people have all of the resources, right? That doesn't make any sense. It's not spiritually correct. And Saturn's bringing down the law, and in Capricorn, at home in Capricorn, coming up with Pluto, death and destruction to the structures of our reality, and then Jupiter bringing in new light and new possibility as we remake our physical reality and remake our world to better represent the truth of humanity, and to bring true equality and true integrity and fairness back into our world, where we have these powerful light worker beings coming into their leadership power, where it's about being a visionary and leading us into new possibilities and keeping everybody's best interests in mind as we move into the Aquarian age. And that is the wealth of this world. Love, compassion, nurturing is the wealth of this world. That is what really makes this world go round. But we've been totally turned upside down and programmed to think completely differently. And so that 2020 astrology is just like that hammer coming down. And so Venus is having a say in this. Venus rules our self-worth and our gifts, our everything that we're trying to bring in right now, and whether or not we deserve, our light and who we really are. And so with Venus making these powerful squares at the time of these eclipses, and at this Pisces full moon, where we're looking at these errors of judgment and really huge distortions from the Piscean age around power and control and authority. And so Venus in square to Pluto is saying, hey, we got to rework our value system. And that is like the feminine inside of all of us standing up for her right to be heard, for her emotions, for her sensitivity, for the strength of nurturing and love and compassion, and how important that is in our world. But guess what? We can't really bring that force into our world till we're willing to do it for ourselves, when we're willing to claim our right to own our power. And so that's a really potent message here that is happening right during this Pisces full moon, as well as the day after, when when Mars turns direct. And so just incredible amount of stuff happening. We also have this Saturn trine to Uranus, really beautiful energy about magical information, synchronicities. Uranus is always like bringing in higher knowledge and flashes of insight. And Saturn is our manifested world. It's that kind of reality of this 3D world. And so Uranus is bringing flashes of insight and revolutionary change into our physical reality, especially since these planets are in earth signs. Saturn is in Capricorn and Uranus is in Taurus. So it's the height of all of the most intense 2018 astrology and the most harmonizing 2018 astrology all together to help guide us into this new chapter. So I hope you can join me for this Pisces full moon activation. It's also going to be a celebration of Mars turning direct and being ready with our intentions to hit the ground running, being ready to ground out and come home into our bodies, into our awareness, to be able to make the most of this potent time, to be ready for the blessings to come through, to help each other reevaluate our self-worth and be able to know and remember who we really are and build a world based on that as we move into this next chapter. A very quick turnaround here in this 2018 shifting year. And here we go, we're at the pin of the needle, and here's the shift. So I hope you can join me for this full moon activation. It's going to happen before the full moon on the Friday before, at the 24th, Friday, August 24th at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so we'll be getting together. It's $10, and if you can't make the live, you'll be able to watch it. It's just a little before the full moon, so you can kind of watch and be a part of this activation. Your intention to join allows your questions to be answered and the information come directly for you, whether or not you can be on the live activation or catching the replay. And just know this energy is for the whole weekend and through Monday, as Mars is turning direct. This kind of massive shift in the middle of a massive shift, in the middle of a massive shift. And here we are, just at the end of the road, and we have to turn the corner. And so let's come together and harmonize that and set our intentions for this powerful next period of time, that we're ready to receive our light and have this world reflect the truth of who we really are, humanity. So thank you so much for showing up and being who you are and going through all you've gone through to be right here together for this amazing experience. The energy is going to lighten. It's going to be feeling more free. And so let's take advantage of that together and support each other on this online network. And so let me know in the comments how you're feeling, what's going on, and let's stay in touch and work together through this. And remember that light workers are all off on their own a lot, right? I mean, that's kind of the deal with it, is that you need to be, you have a group of people surrounding you that aren't so awake, so that you can help them as we go through these dramatic shifts and changes. And I think we are going to continue to see these in our world as we move into these next months of 2018. Our world is changing. You know, we have that Pluto-Uranus square all the way back from 2011, and that is about changing our reality and revolutionary change of our physical reality and how our whole society works. And so we had that massive kind of ringing of the bell over like 4 or 5 years, but we haven't really actually seen the results yet, and that's the results are coming in now. And so we need to kind of stick together, hold tight, and continue to vision this future that we know is possible, and why we're here, and the lightness of that, and the hope in that, and the incredible excitement of moving into a lighter vibrational frequency and moving into feeling a part of being absolutely supported in your role as a light worker on planet Earth at this time, during this powerful spiritual transition into higher consciousness. It's quite an amazing experience we're here experiencing together, because in past evolutions, when you make consciousness shift, typically everybody leaves their body. There's like a catastrophe or whatever. The reason why we're going through all of this right now is that we're doing this, we're changing our world while we're still in a body, while we're changing our earth while it's in its physical form. And so it's a really potent, incredibly powerful experience, but it's not easy, you know, but we've already won, and we know this. We can feel it in our heart. We've already won, and we know what we're here to experience as we move forward to the future. And we get to be placeholders for this. We get to be the living, breathing example, the reminder to people as we go through these intense shifts that there is a way bigger picture to all of this, and it's going to be okay. So thanks so much for being you and being here for your community. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.